Are you tired of the cookie-cutter approach to education that's stuck in the last century? Are you seeking a win-win situation where your family thrives, your kid's education is revolutionary, and you still get to chase your own dreams? Welcome to Unschooled Unleashed. Unlock your child's genius. I'm your host, Matthew Jarecki, an unapologetic rebel dad and promoter of what many consider to be educational anarchy. You know the world isn't going to be won by those that just toe the line. It's the innovators, the visionaries, and the resilient spirits that are going to thrive. Our mission here is to forge those world changers within our very homes with less stress, energy, and time. Unschooled Unleashed starts now. Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Unschooled Unleashed. I'm your host, Matthew Jarecki, and today we're going to talk about video games. How to go on an adventure with your kids in video games. Building relationships, doing a whole bunch of fun stuff. Video games aren't your thing. Maybe replace it with something else. Maybe it's board games. Maybe it's something else. Just you could figure it out. It's video games is just one way. It's one way that touched me as a kid, and probably a lot of you who are similar in age to me. So yeah, it's going to be a good episode. It's going to be a little bit shorter, which is okay. But I wanted to make sure I got out an episode before I start playing video games with my son. So with that, let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about going on an adventure with your kids using video games. I know it sounds like kind of a stretch, but that's what I'm doing right now, so we're going to talk about it. Video games are more than just fun. They're kind of a gateway to connection if you choose to make them that way. You can make a bunch of cool memories with your kid if you use them the right way. Today we're going to explore how gaming together can strengthen your bond with your children and maybe even teach some skills along the way that might be beneficial, and you'll create lasting family memories, maybe even some new traditions. So let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about what I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm sharing the joy of going back and playing classic games with my sons. The game we're playing right now is Mario 3, and man, this is my favorite game when I was like 9 or 10 years old, or younger. I don't remember when it came out, but I was right around that age. I don't know. There's something that just kind of pulls me into it, and I'm able to just settle down and just play and be present with my kid. And that's very important. Even if it's just for that, then I'm able to just be present with my kid very easily. It doesn't take any work for me at all, any energy at all. I just sit there, do it, and we have a lot of fun. I think maybe worth it. So if that's not what you experience, then maybe this isn't the best approach. However, if you enjoy video games, continue listening. We're going to go through a couple things, how making the video game time can be fun, but also intentional to help build skills like resilience, problem solving, teamwork, and all while bringing you and your child closer together. So let's talk about the first thing. One benefit of doing this is creating a safe space to practice life skills. I know it sounds kind of like a stretch, but mistakes are learning opportunities, and video games actually allows the children to make a mistake, face setbacks, and retry without fear. I think this kind of shows them, at least it did with me, that it's okay to fail. And really, you just got to try again. Keep trying if you want to go after something. Even though it's in a virtual setting, I think it's taught me when I was a child that if I just continue to go after something, eventually I'll get it. If I choose to be excellent, eventually I will be if I give it enough practice. And through that practice, I built confidence. I think games provide that constant feedback, allowing kids to see that their progress, and feel that sense of accomplishment after they overcome obstacles. Now, the limit to that is if you're 25 years old sitting there playing video games, like a grown child, essentially, and you still think that that's your only accomplishment in life, well, that's a problem. Eventually, we need to grow up and start having real accomplishments outside video games. But when you're 10 years old, even 15 years old or less, video games are still pretty big accomplishments. And I think it allows kids to build confidence in whatever endeavor they might tackle next, because they are overcoming real obstacles in their life. I also think it takes working under pressure, but it's such low risk stakes. And that, I think that's one benefit, whether it's a race against the clock or a challenging boss at the end of the game. I think this type of environment, this virtual environments, helps kids practice staying calm under pressure. And I think that's a real skill they're going to be able to use in the future. I know when I played, just all these video games when I was growing up, I used to get in the state of flow. And I think that was really beneficial for me to be able to jump into that. And I recognized it with other things too, but especially video games. I just was able to, boom, get in that state of flow. And I think that's a very beneficial thing to build, not just in video games, other places too, but these are some of the benefits that you can have. Next topic I want to talk about is strengthening their problem solving skills. And you can do this together if you're going back to like those old retro games that are kind of simple, laid out, and you got to figure stuff out. We're going to be the role model for problem solving. And when you go over and dive into this stuff with your kids, something that they're really interested in, you're doing challenging levels together, and you model how to approach and solve problems calmly, and you teach them by example. I remember I was in this level, I don't remember what it was in Mario 3, but it was more recently since I've been playing that with my oldest son. And he said, we couldn't figure out how to solve this level. It was like this looping level that you had to go in the right doors, and it just like, we kept on running out of time. And my son's like, just Google it. And I'm like, just Google it. We didn't have Google when I was 10. No, we're going to figure this out. They made this so you could figure it out without the internet. So we just kept on trying new things. And eventually when we saw that there was a pipe hidden in the ceiling, and when we saw that, we just looked at each other like, whoa, did you see that? And it was just so much fun being able to actually solve that problem, something that's achievable for them. And we're both getting excited about it. I thought that was really cool. I think this is also an opportunity to encourage creative approaches to challenges. It's super low risk, right? So encourage them to go over and just try out whatever they want. My son wanted to try using I can't remember, I think it was like a star in Mario. And the star is a super short time that you're invincible. And, at first I was like, oh no, it wouldn't work to do that because it's only going to get you past a certain point. And this is a slower level. But let him learn the hard way. Let him try different things. Let him be creative is what I thought. So I decided to keep my mouth shut. Let him experiment and find out the best strategy. That creates a problem solver. Also, there's hands-on experience with trial and error. And I think these games reward experimentation. So allowing them to do trial and error, I think, is a powerful way to learn and grow. And it's such low risk. It's just such low risk that it doesn't even matter. Let them try and have fun. Moving on. You could also build resilience through small setbacks. You can show them how to handle disappointment positively. When they die, you don't get upset at them. When you die, you don't get upset at the game. You show them that you just keep on bouncing back from any kind of loss and frustration. Even if you lose the game entirely and you have to start from the very beginning, you can show how this time's going to be different. This is what I'm going to do different. Show them resilience, model it. You're also teaching patience in a fun way. Kids quickly realize that they can't always win or get things right the first time when they're playing these video games. And this makes these games an ideal space to practice patience and persistence. They keep showing back up, You're building this life skill. I think that's really a cool thing. You're also turning these setbacks into motivation, tapping into their motivation and allowing them to build a relationship with that motivation, I think is very important. Like when you lose a level or miss a goal, it just becomes an opportunity to encourage your kids and hopefully allow them to build that motivation. It just creates this positive attitude towards failure, which I think is pretty cool. Moving on. You're also building trust and, I don't know how to say it, but like team spirit. And that's through particularly with cooperative play. So you can either have competitive play where you're playing against each other, or you can have cooperative play where you're trying to achieve the same goals, or you're working together to achieve those same goals. Now, I think it's probably best to play cooperative play in these types of environments if you're working on these skill sets. But, their competitive play can be fun too. It's just when you do competitive play, sometimes when the kids are younger, you're going to outmatch them, and it just gets boring when you're always winning for both of you. But when you're doing cooperative play and you're trying to achieve the same goals, working together, all of a sudden, boom, you shift from parent to teammate. And playing as partners lets your child experience you as an ally, you as just kind of this friend who's having fun, where you both take on a challenge side by side. And it just builds that relationship, I think. At least that's what it's doing for me. You're building that trust in a fun setting. So, like, I'm going off into battle with my kid, right? We're going off into this battle. We're going to beat Mario 3, and we're going to do it together. And it's just that trusting team spirit that you get when you're beating levels or solving puzzles. They learn to trust your guidance and support, as well as strengthening that relationship that you're building. You're also celebrating wins as a team. So when he does something good, or she does something good, in my case it's he, you're high-fiving each other. Each level or each boss you conquer becomes a shared victory, and you get that sense of unity, and the high fives go up, and you're looking at each other yelling, yeah, whoa, did you see that? That kind of thing. This is great times for my family and me in particular, because I've dreamed about doing this since I was a kid. A game like Contra, where you're working together. This is going back to the old Nintendo again. You're working together to complete levels, and that's another one where you can really build those team dynamics to trust in each other's abilities and just have those moments. Moving on, creating those special memories and maybe even some family traditions, just depending on what you do. But you're going to add to your remember when stories. And that is a lot of fun. I mean, we're already doing that. Remember when this happened and this happened in the game and we found something new. I may not remember a lot of those moments since I'm older playing this game and I've already beaten Mario 3. But my son will. I remember the first time I saw the magic whistle. I remember, which allows you to skip levels. I remember the first time I saw Bowser at the end and got to beat him and what happens. I thought it was the coolest thing. It's going to bring you closer. They're going to remember this. Remember, time expands for them. So every minute you put in is like an hour of memory. And the space between, the frequency between these events seems to shrink down in their heads as they get older. They'll say, we played every single day. And it's like, really, you only played a couple times a week. But making a lot of cool memories. And really what you're doing is you're building a legacy of fun together. And as a dad, I think that's really important. You got to find ways to have fun and build that relationship with each kid. Creating a tradition of fun, you'll be able to, hopefully it carries through the teenage years. And when you get together, you just have a good time. It's a reason to get together. It's a reason to come back to each other when you've had an argument. And that's what I want. You also get to capture moments, and we're using the opportunity to maybe take some pictures when we beat this game, and just some of the excitement hopefully captured on video, so we can go back and look on this and just have a lot of fun. And maybe they'll do this when they're parents. Moving on, we're also encouraging good communication and social skills. The reason I say that is because they're learning to listen and follow instructions. They have to work together when it's a co-op game, where your kids have to listen and understand the strategy in order to succeed. They're building the strategy with you. They have to communicate it back out to you. I think these are all really good things. I think there's something so valuable between father and son when you say, let's go on an adventure. Even though it's a virtual adventure in this case, it's still, let's go conquer something. Let's go attack this. And they learn that camaraderie as well. And they have to be able to communicate effectively. They're also going to have to build patience and take turns. And that's going to, that's another life skill. They're gonna watch me try out new things, gonna watch me fail and how I approach it. They're gonna have to be respectful when I fail and not like rip me apart, make me feel bad, because that would make me quit. I do the same for them. And I think that's all good stuff. They're also going to have to, at least with these old games, read quite a bit, because these older games don't talk. They actually have to read. So my 10-year-old, he's an avid reader, so it's not a big deal for him. But for some people, the stories within the games are like a book. If you take, I'm trying to think of a game where you had to read quite a bit. Maybe Maniac Mansion on the Nintendo, or any Super Nintendo game. Maybe the Zeldas. Stuff like that, where you have to read quite a bit, the Final Fantasies. The stories, the language helps, depending on the game, expand their vocabulary, get into storytelling, that kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of benefit to that. Moving on. I like to make this gaming time an intentional and balanced. So right now, we're trying to make it a fun routine. It's never expected at this point, which is great. They're always surprised when I bring it up. We have nights that are dedicated to video games and doing whatever they want. And we have nights that are dedicated to no video games and no TV. Right now, we're creating a fun routine where every night I'm playing, at least every night they don't play video games, I'm playing Mario 3 with my son. It's just like this bonus time. It's creating this fun routine. They're looking forward to dad getting home. Everyone else is gathered around the screen at the same time because screens attract kids. So they're all watching it. So we're all in it together as a family. And I just think that it creates this rewarding activity where you're getting a lot of attention from your family. Everyone's focused on what you're doing. Everyone's rooting you on, and it just brings everyone together. But you got to have balance with it, of course. So that's why we have no video game nights. But, right now the routine is we're breaking it because it's a lot of fun to play video games with my kids right now. Moving on. We're also reinforcing emotional support along the way. So we are, as we're gathered around the screen, we're acting as their biggest fan. We're celebrating those small wins together. We're cheering each other on while we're making progress, and we want them to feel valued, like they have a place. If a kid doesn't feel like they have a place in the family, they're going to find it with someone else, whether it's a gang, whether it's a friend group, or girlfriend, boyfriend, that kind of thing. They're eventually going to find it. Make them feel like they are absolutely integral in your family and you're their biggest fan. When everybody's rooting them on, I don't know. I've always felt like that. I loved playing Tetris with my dad. When I was a kid, I actually played with my dad and my uncle. It was literally my favorite video game time. I liked Tetris, but I loved playing Tetris with them. And just taking turns and seeing what they did and just like watching the moves was mesmerizing. And if someone got really far, it was like, whoa, You just really got in it together. I look back at those memories very fondly. It was some of my favorite times when I was 10 years old. You also get to support their near ones as well. When they miss a goal, you encourage them and shows them that effort matters as much as winning. You're not just out to win the game. You're out to just have fun together and support them. I think it fosters a healthy attitude towards progress. And it creates that positive, fun environment where you have a whole audience that's supportive, and gaming starts to be something they look forward to and feel valued. And I just think that it's a really cool thing to do together. So in conclusion, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today because I want to go play Mario with my kid. So in conclusion, you can create lasting memories. You can build important life skills, strengthen your bond with your child, and just make them feel like a valued member while you're creating these awesome memories. You can add to your family's story. You can make each level a memory of your shared journey and create that foundation of support and fun. So with that, I'll end today's episode. So stay curious, stay unschooled, and stay away from the algebra nightmares. I'll catch you in the next episode. Parents, are you terrified your unschooled child isn't learning enough? Or are you a homeschooling veteran eager to level up by incorporating in unschooling principles? Maybe you're newly venturing into homeschooling and already doubting your decision. Whatever the stage, overwhelm is real, but it doesn't have to be. I'm Matthew Jarecki from Unschooled Unleashed, and I've got huge news. I'm thrilled to introduce Homeschool Rescue, Unschooled Unleashed's signature coaching package. Whether you're all in on unschooling or just dipping a toe, this tailored coaching package is your roadmap to a confident and thriving education no matter how hectic life gets. Bold moves make bright futures. Join our Homeschool Rescue coaching program through the link in the description and set your child's genius free. So here's where we roll up our sleeves and bring out the big guns. If you support our mission, then please leave a review. On Unschooled Unleashed, we are talking about using a radical approach to education in today's world, and the more 5-star reviews we have, the more people will feel comfortable with the ideas, strategies, and principles we discuss. It gives legitimacy to our message, and the podcast's algorithm prioritizes us so we can reach more people. You may even have your 5-star review read on our podcast. Before I let you go, I have to pause and say this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Your presence here is the fuel that ignites this movement. I am incredibly moved that you trust in us enough to click play. You, my friends, are the caped heroes in this story, the guardians of your family's learning journey, and a beacon of hope for your community. Be bold. Do what you think is best for you and your family. Thanks again for tuning in and taking this courageous leap outside of the box for this educational revolution. Welcome to the front line.